The warm glow of an autumn weekend, plus the idyllic setting of a college campus equals the excitement of football. SIU, the new football season is unveiled with fresh anticipation mixed with a healthy amount of anxiety. It is a new season and a new generation, for it comes complete with the new athletic director, Gail Sayers, new assistant athletic director, John Nabate, new head football coach, Ray Dempsey, and a new Saluki spirit. Smarting from several recent lackluster seasons, SIU made a commitment to a rebuilding program beginning in 1976, led by athletic director Gail Sayers.
I came to Southern from Kansas University because I liked what I saw here. The goal that I wanted to try to achieve was try to bring some pride back to Southern Illinois University as far as the football program was concerned. I wanted to try to make a winning program, try to get the alumni, students, and friends of the university behind the program. And I think in the past, people thought that this was a small university, but we got a very well-rounded program here. Our 11 sports program ranks in the top 20 in the country. So it's not a small university. We got over 22,000 students. So this is a major university. There's no question about it. It is a new spirit here, and hopefully this will build and build and build.
In 1976, the building was nothing short of phenomenal. It was a reconstruction that would see the Salukis boast one of the best single-season improvements in the nation. The season record was 7 wins and only 4 losses. That tally equaled the total number of victories SIU had accumulated over the last 4 years. It was a reconstruction and a season that would see a determined tailback, Andre Herrera, number 28, break almost every SIU running record in the book. Most yards rushing for a single game and for the season. Most touchdowns in a single game and for the season. Longest run from scrimmage. And an NCAA record for the most yards gained in a single quarter, just to name a few. In addition, he finished the season as the 4th leading rusher in the nation and was named on the AP and UPI's All-American 3rd team. It was a reconstruction that would see the Saluki defense hold interstate rival Northern Illinois scoreless, the first shutout in 98 games. It was a defensive unit that would keep opponents from scoring a touchdown in 3 consecutive games. It was a small but fast defensive team that applied the pressure and force the turnovers and score 3 touchdowns and 3 safeties. And it was a reconstruction that saw SIU finish with its first winning season since 1971 and with the best record in 15 years.
You know, this was my most enjoyable year. This was my 19th year of coaching. And I think that I, as a head coach, did my best job this year. And all my assistants did, too, for this reason. Here we won 7 football games, won 7-4, did not have great material, and yet we were a better football team. I think there's a lot to be said for people playing as a team, as a unit. You've got to believe in yourself, and you have to have confidence in yourself. We worked with our kids a lot psychologically, and we worked on their self and what they could do and a lot of psychological things.
At SIU, 19 seniors had played football for 3 years without knowing the feeling of a winning way. But in 1976, they got the feeling. It was a learning process which would see the Salukis continue to improve as the season progressed. It soon became apparent the key to the offensive attack would be tailback Andre Herrera. In 1975, Herrera's rushing total was an uninspiring 485 net yards. But in 1976, he came to play football.
And speaking about Andre Herrera, we met him in springtime. He was a good back, but he wasn't a great back at all. He wasn't very tough physically. He came back in tremendous shape, and he proved to us that he could play with pain, and he could take a good hit, and he loved the game. I think the thing that he has that is so great, he has quick feet, and he has great body balance, and when he runs the football, he is very aware of the people on his side. And besides doing this, with all this, he also is a great pass receiver. He said he will listen to anything that I say in order to get the job done. And he really did. And it ended up being that I loved Andre and he loved me because we really knew each other, respected each other. He's not even close to his full potential yet.
Aided by some key line and downfield blocking and a lot of individual talent and determination, Herrera punched through the opposition for a total of 1,588 yards, a 300% improvement over the preceding year. He continued to roll up the yardage, even though the opposition always keyed on him. And as proof of his tenacity, he carried the ball 287 times during the season, another SIU record. But SIU moved the ball in a variety of ways. Fullback Larry Boyd, number 36, drove into the opponent's lines for critical yardage. Then there were younger players who demonstrated their talents during the course of the season, such as number 46, alternate tailback Gary Linton, a junior. And number 32, freshman fullback Burnell Quinn. Then there was sophomore wingback Dave Short. And sophomore wingback Vic Major. And there was freshman Kevin House, a potential superstar at split end. When starting quarterback Jim Kelly was injured early in the season, Coach Dempsey alternated 2 players, junior Bob Collins promising freshman Reggie Evans, who completes this one to junior tight end Greg Warren. There were many young players on the 1976 team who'll be back and ready for 77. Here, freshman Evans passes to sophomore Dave Short for a 32-yard gain. And junior Gary Linton also gave a preview of things to expect in 1977 with this 59-yard run.
It all starts at the top. The president of the university has to want football. And then he, in turn, has to give his vice president who's in charge of all athletics the powers to go ahead and hire good people. You have to make a commitment to sports. You can't have both. You can have a good educational institution, a good football team, and a good basketball team. But you have to make a commitment to it. There's always a way. There's a way to win, and you have to keep looking for that edge. And I believe you look for it in every field, every way possible. They asked me my philosophy when I first came, and I said this about football. Here's how I coach it. I feel you have to have a great defense first. So I'm defensive minded right off the bat. I will try to get the best athletes and put them on defense. And then if you can move the ball fair, but your kicking game is superior, then you will always win more football games than you'll lose.
Dempsey asked for defense, and Dempsey got defense. SIU threw their opponents for losses 61 times during the season. It was the two ends, John Flowers, number 48, and Matt Bailey, number 95, who spearheaded the defensive unit. Together, they sacked the beleaguered quarterbacks 26 times. As Flowers, here wearing number 51, gets his man. Now Bailey forces the play to the inside. Flowers makes the tackle. Junior linebacker Dan Brown, number 54, led the Salukis with 133 tackles and 4 interceptions. Then there was right tackle Tom Eppolito, number 53, who caused far more damage to the opposition than his 5'10" frame would suggest. There was cornerback Joe Hausman from Heron, Illinois, who had 3 big interceptions for the year. But the real leader on defense was senior John Flowers. He had 125 tackles, 75 unassisted. He sacked opposing quarterbacks 17 times, and he recovered 4 opponent fumbles. He also broke up 6 passes and blocked 2 punts and an extra point.
John Flowers was probably our exceptional lineman all through the year, and probably our exceptional defensive player. If you had to name one player, it was John Flowers. And he played like something possessed him that he had to be the greatest player ever, and he was a fantastic player for us, and we need more players like this with his great desire.
In addition to regular defensive play, Coach Dempsey put a lot of emphasis on specialty teams, in particular blocking punts. For the year, the Salukis blocked 4 punts and 3 extra point attempts. 2 of the blocked punts turned into touchdowns and 1 into a safety. It was not a big defensive team, but what they lacked in size, they made up for in quickness and desire. As Ray Dempsey put it, they developed the killer instinct. On October 23rd, a cloudburst temporarily ended the drought in southern Illinois. Notwithstanding the weather, the Salukis were intent on not being denied a homecoming victory against their in-state rival, the Northern Illinois Huskies.
Northern Illinois had beat us 52-12 the year before when they had 8 players back on defense. I was so intent that day, and so were my players, that we could not even see the rain. We showed that we could still have a killer instinct and not try to run the score up, but still keep attacking them in a business-like fashion. Well, the way we played, we never slipped, we never slid, and we had no fumbles that particular day. And we ran hard and we blocked hard. We were hot that day.
SIU lost no time in charting the course of the game. A hungry Saluki defense would not be moved. Then it's John Flowers on the attack as he puts the Huskies in retreat, back to their 22-yard line. Northern was quickly forced to punt, and the Salukis put their offense in gear immediately as Herrera goes around left tackle for 20 yards. Playing no favorites, on the next play, he sweeps right for 15 yards, moving to Northern's 21-yard line. Then it's Larry Boyd's turn as he drives up the middle for 12 yards. Quarterback Reggie Evans on a keeper goes around left end. And Herrera powers his way over the goal line for the first of his 6 touchdowns for the day. The Saluki defense would not yield all afternoon, as here Matt Bailey hauls down the Husky quarterback for a 5-yard loss. Additional pressure caused a bad snap, and 2 more points were added as a safety. It was now 9-0 as the rain continued to pour. After the kick, the Salukis took the ball on the 20-yard line. On the second play, Herrera cuts through left tackle, and with key downfield blocks by Kevin House and Greg Warren, Herrera scampers 53 yards to the NIU 25-yard line. Then it's alternate tailback Gary Linton, who finds a big hole in the right side and carries the ball to the 16. And in a sequence that duplicates the first successful TD drive, on the next play, Evans hands off to the first man through fullback Larry Boyd as he drives his way to the 3. And Herrera leaps in from there. The score, 15-0. The point after makes it 16-0. During the first play from scrimmage on the next SIU offensive series, Herrera galloped for 85 yards thanks to a key block from fullback Larry Boyd. He was well on his way to an NCAA one-quarter national rushing record of 214 yards, beating the old record of 182 established by Mercury Morris. Then it was Gary Linton breaking across for another score. And with still 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, it was SIU 23, NIU nothing. Early in the second quarter, left linebacker Dan Brown recovered a fumble at the NIU 42-yard line. On the first offensive play, Herrera bursts across left tackle for 15 yards. With Herrera out in front blocking, Gary Linton adds 4 yards, bringing the ball to the 10. Then Herrera goes again, this time over right tackle for a touchdown, his 3rd, and the tally is now 30-0 in favor of SIU. Immediately after the kickoff, NIU fumbles once again, one of their 9 fumbles for the day. SIU is knocking at the door yet another time. few plays later, it's SIU's 1st and 10 at the 14. Herrera cuts through an opening made by tackle Randy Hobby and powers his way for his incredible 4th touchdown of the game. And the second quarter is only 1/2 over. No additional scoring takes place in the second quarter, so the first half ends with the Salukis leading 37-0. The rain continued to fall, but the Saluki spirit refused to be dampened or even slowed. In SIU's first series of the second half, Herrera breaks through for another 45-yard gain, sliding out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Two plays later, Andre leaps over the middle for 6 more points. Again, the SIU defense shows its talent. Tom Eppolito, right tackle, causes another NIU fumble, and John Flowers is there to pounce on it. A few minutes later, the Salukis were stopped at the 28, so Ken Seaman steps in and attempts a 35-yard field goal in a driving rain. For the day, Seaman kicked 1 field goal and 7 conversions. The score now, 47-0. Just as the third quarter was ending, the Salukis found themselves with 3rd and long yardage. SIU elected to punt, but instead kicker Steve Mick threw a bomb to Valdrew Rogers. This was definitely the Salukis' day. The fourth quarter began with Bob Collins completing a pass to wingback Dave Short. A few plays later, it was Andre Herrera for still another touchdown, the 6th for the day. A total of 319 yards rushing, and the honor, National Back of the Week. The game ends 54-0. It was a homecoming to remember.
We said to our people early in the year that we can make it happen. We truly can make it happen if you work hard enough. And we worked very, very hard at all the things we did, and I'm so proud of these guys because they were able to overcome so much, and they're going to be better for it later in life. There is a way to win, and we think we've taught them how to win. And this winning spirit has come out, and we think that we're going to call this the Saluki winning spirit. I think there's a lot to be said for teamwork, and this team here has as much teamwork as any I've ever been associated with, because when third stringers can come up and hug you and say, good game, coach, and we're happy, then you know you have something going. And I told them when I come, I said, we will set a lot of records in these next 4 years and these next 10 years. Honestly, we will. We're going to get it done.
Saluki football in 1976 did go down the record books in many ways. But those records speak not only of an accomplishment that has happened and is past, but to a new talent that is emerging, to a new spirit that is developing, and to a new generation that is forming.
This makes my job worth going to work every day because you can't explain the feeling you get when you see a young man or you see a young team go out and do the job they did this year when they only expect to win 2-3 ball games. I think we do have a new generation here at SIU. The immediate success of our football program is going to be a tremendous boost. We now have a winning attitude in football. The student fans have picked up on this right away. We've got a new spirit now, a new image, and we plan to keep it.
76 was a great year for SIU football, but the best is yet to come. It's an exciting time, and we hope that you will be part of the new Saluki spirit.